Hey, first grade friends, welcome back to our informative writing lessons. And this week we are writing all about worms' enemies. We want to write an informative paragraph to tell what we've learned about worms' enemies, and we're going to make sure we use information that we learned from both the pictures and the words. So I decided I wanted to write about moles because moles are worms' greatest enemies. And we learned a lot from some of the pictures in the text. We learned that moles actually store any uneaten worms in an underground tunnel that they call a pantry. And they actually, can you believe this? They bite off the heads of some worms that they don't want to escape, that they're saving for later. So after I drew my teaching picture and I added labels and some realistic coloring, then yesterday we worked on writing our topic sentence. Remember, our topic sentence, if we're using our hand to plan our paragraph, is that first sentence in our paragraph that tells our reader what we're about to teach them. I will teach you all about worms' enemies, which is exactly what I wrote. I will teach you all about worms' enemies. But then I've got these three middle fingers, and these are like my teaching sentences. I can write, I'm going to do 2 facts. You could write 3 facts or 3 teaching sentences. It's really up to you. I would say you should do at least 2 facts about worms' enemies. So we're going to work on these 2 or 3 facts today, and that's going to get us ready for our closing sentence or our last sentence tomorrow. So I'm going to go back to my text because I want to make sure that I am accurately or correctly picking facts to include. So here's the page that I learned all that I know about moles as being one of the worm's greatest enemies. And I've already underlined and labeled 4 different facts that I can teach my reader. I'm going to pick 2 of them. The first one says, a mole is an earthworm's greatest enemy. I definitely want to teach that to my reader. They need to know that a mole is very dangerous to worms. I'm then going to teach them this second fact. Moles sometimes eat 30 worms a day. Isn't that crazy? 30 worms. Can you imagine eating 30 of anything? If I wanted to, I could of course keep going and write some more teaching sentences, like telling them that they store extra worms in a special pantry. My reader will also learn that from my teaching picture. Or, here's the really gross one. Moles keep worms from escaping from their pantry by biting off their heads. I know. If you're into the gross stuff, maybe you want to include this fact in your paragraph. So I actually already started, and I wrote 1 teaching sentence that tells that a mole is an earthworm's greatest enemy. Let's take a look at that sentence. I wrote, one fact is that moles are worms' biggest or greatest enemy. And then I got myself ready to write another fact. You'll notice that I wrote, another fact is blank, 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 blank. Well, remember, I draw these lines to help me remember what I'm going to write in my sentence. I'm going to write, another fact is that moles eat 30 worms a day. And notice I used an exclamation point here instead of a period because I want to really emphasize that or give it a good little punch because I think that's just so surprising and I want my reader to be surprised by that as well. So I'm going to finish this sentence. Another fact is that. What digraph makes that th sound that makes your teeth tickle, kind of like feather? If you said TH, kiss your brain. Short A, that. Another fact is that. Notice, friends, how I go back and reread my sentence like a million times as I'm writing it so I can remember what I'm writing. Another fact is that moles, mole. I know my sneaky E is making the O say its name, but I'm not just talking about one mole in the whole world. I'm talking about all the moles, more than one, so it needs a suffix S. Another fact is that moles eat. That's a sight word. E-A-T spells eat. Another fact is that moles eat 30. Now I can spell the word 30. I can also write the number 30. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. If you're writing this fact, I'm going to spell it because I want to challenge myself. TH, remember, can say like thimble or thumb. I remember seeing combination IR. 30. Oh, we spelled this before. We've written 30 before, and I know the Y is at the end making the I sound. I'm sorry, the E sound, the vowel sound. Another fact is that moles eat 30 worms. It's up on my label. W-O-R-M-S, worms, a day. A-Y, at the end like hay. Let's go back and reread. Another fact is that moles eat 30 worms a day. Craziness! Let's go back, friends, and read this whole paragraph that we've constructed so far. I will teach you all about worms' enemies. One fact is that moles are worms' biggest enemy. Another fact is that moles eat 30 worms a day. Now, friends, I can go back and add another fact if I'd like to, or teaching sentence. But for now, I'm actually all set, and I can go back tomorrow and start writing my closing sentence, or that last sentence of my paragraph. So pick out which facts you want to teach, and then start writing those teaching sentences.